The Arizona Cardinals, a team in a state that doesn't really support pro football as much as college football. But anyway, the Cardinals could be made in a tale of three cities, if you will. They started off as the Chicago Cardinals back in 1920 when they were a decent city to have a team in. The Chicago Cardinals trying to compete with the Chicago Bears for fans and all that. Finally, in 1960, the Cardinals stopped being in Chicago and went to St. Louis because St. Louis wanted a team in the Midwest, and lo and behold, it's the St. Louis Cardinals. Why did you change? You should have changed the name. The St. Louis Cardinals? That's a baseball team. Guy, it's so frustrating for 26 years to have the St. Louis Cardinals in baseball and football. How are you going to distinguish them apart? Anguish. Anyway, the St. Louis Cardinals were the football team was not as popular as the baseball team, and not as lucky as the baseball team. The Cardinals did make a few division titles in the late 70s, but unfortunately they couldn't get anything going. Besides, America's team was in progress. St. Louis did boast Jim Hart and Neil Lomax as decent quarterbacks. That obviously couldn't go anywhere else because they would have fucked it all up. Unfortunately, the Cardinals just didn't have that power of being in St. Louis. And it was due to them into Arizona, which Phoenix was trying so hard to get the Colts, and they failed. But 4 years later, they got lucky. They got a new team called the Phoenix Cardinals. Okay, that's fine. You put in Phoenix, you're going to try to get some playoff spots. What the hell? You just can't make the playoffs? Really? Nah. And now you change your name to the Arizona Cardinals. How original. Eek. You're telling me that the Cardinals suck so badly it just bites them? Hold on a minute. Aren't these the same? Isn't that the same franchise that shocked the Minnesota Vikings in 2003 on a last-second play from Josh McCown, everyone's quarterback backup, to Nate Poole, and Nate Poole then got the key to the city of Green Bay. That's him. So anyway, the Cardinals have been off and on, but in the 2010s they've been pretty good. They did get to the 2009 Super Bowl by beating the Eagles in their new home, the University of Phoenix Stadium, or Glendale Stadium, if you will. And a lot of Eagle fans were there at the NFC title game. But no Battle Pennsylvania for the Super Bowl. It's Cardinals, it's the Steelers. And give Arizona all the credit in the world. They played a great Super Bowl. But unfortunately, James Harrelson's 100-yard interception fumble return for a touchdown was just terrible. I mean, yes, Larry Fitzgerald with that great catch and dash in the final few minutes of the Super Bowl against the Steelers was great. But Plaxico Burress, the toe tap in the end zone touchdown, Cardinals are pissed. Cardinals were in a couple of famous games against the Green Bay Packers. The next year, in the 2010 playoffs, they were facing the Packers in a wild card game, and it was one of the highest scoring in history, 51-45, and it ended up being in overtime. Aaron Rodgers threw a dumb pass to an Arizona guy, Monty Barzell. All he had to do was just catch the ball, and he caught the ball, touchdown, Cardinals at home. And then years later, Aaron Rodgers with a fantastic Hail Mary to tie the game against the Cardinals in overtime. One problem though for Green Bay. Arizona won the game on a Larry Fitzgerald catch and dash into a touchdown. The Cardinals have not really been that good. They've been slipping the past few years. The team I'm doing for the Cardinals is the 1998 Cardinals. You'll be asking yourself, why? Well, simple. The 98 Cardinals were the first team to make the playoffs in a long time as the Cardinals. It took them a long time. And the epic heroics on the final day of the year at Sun Devil Stadium, which held similar heroics 5 years later. But anyway, on a nice December day in Phoenix, it was Don Criqui who made the great call when Chris Jackie, formerly of the Packers, hit a 50-yard field goal that went right through the uprights and sent the Cardinals to the playoffs as a wildcard team as the 6th seed, and what you don't really see in NFL games, fans running onto the field. That's a college thing, but yeah, it was home to the Arizona State Sun Devils, but the fans were running on the field because the Cardinals were going to the playoffs. And what happened? They faced the number 3 Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs. And what else happened? They won 23-7. I kid you not. They beat the Dallas Cowboys to win their first playoff game since the 1947 NFL Championship. Holy fuck, man. So anyway, the Cardinals would take on the number 1 seed Minnesota Vikings, who of course went 15-1 and would lose to them. Vikings would then lose to the Falcons, and of course the Falcons lose to the Broncos. Now here's the thing about the Cardinals franchise I should add on, is that it's completely jinxed. The 1925 NFL Championship that they won over Pottsville, not Plattsville, Pottsville, because the Pottsville Maroons kind of broke a law by playing an exhibition game against Notre Dame, even though that they were told that everything was for charity, and that's fine. But they got double crossed, and the Maroons lost their 1925 championship. The Cardinals ended up keeping it. There's a curse that the Cardinals have been really cursed after the fact that they keep voting year after year to deny Pottsville the 1925 title by default, and the Bidwell family has been cursed. So I know it's a stretch to say this, but I'm making the 98 Cardinals beat the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota goes to 15-1, but like the 2011-12 Green Bay Packers, they don't go to the Super Bowl. They don't even get to the conference championship. So I'm making Arizona a bit of a ham hock. I'm going to help them out, and I'm going to make them face the Atlanta Falcons. Now, the problem is the Falcons will have home field at the Georgia Dome. So that's kind of nice if you like those type of things. So, yeah, let's do it. So at 9-7, the Arizona Cardinals of 98 would take on the Atlanta Falcons. My guess is that the Falcons would win the game and then practically face the Denver Broncos for the Super Bowl. But we'll see. Maybe the Cardinals do face the Broncos in the Super Bowl. Nope. Nope. Just like I thought. Arizona just had nothing left in the pan. And yet another faltering. I've done 17 teams. Only 3 have had their happy ever afters. Joe Nunley does kick 3 field goals. But I thought it was Chris Jackie. Wasn't it Chris Jackie? But anyway, 2 touchdowns from Chandler to Mathis and Todd Kinchin, and the Falcons go to the 1998 Super Bowl when they get beaten by the Broncos. Well, that just sucked. Morale, not good. Jamal Anderson, 95 yards running. Chandler, 15 for 24, 208, 2 touchdowns on a pick. Jake the Snake Plummer from Arizona State, 14 for 18, 217 yards. Nothing. The only pick was to Kwame Lassiter, who was pretty good. Joe Nunley, 3 field goals, 35, 22, and 50, but that was all the Cardinals could muster for scoring. Kind of stupid, don't you think? But you know what? Times happen. Things happen for a reason. I don't like that the way they portray it, but you know, that's what happens to the Arizona Cardinals.